It is Wednesday, August 10th in the MLB, and I'm Austin from Calling Our Shot.
And I'm Logan from Calling Our Shot.
We are back with our three best picks of the day. We got our favorite game pick, player prop, no one first inning, and our hit streak parlay coming your guys' way.
As always, guys, just do us a real quick favor. Go down and hit that subscribe button. Really helps Austin and I on this channel. You know, a lot of hard work does go into these videos, and you guys in the community are the driving force and what's been keeping us going all season long.
And we are going to recap yesterday like we always do, up over 24 units on the year. It was a 2-3 day yesterday. Diamondbacks clutch up. Carrasco easily gets the win. Vladdy gets stolen of a base at I believe the top of the ninth, would have easily hit his over in bases. The Marlins, and then that NRFI. Oh, brother, if you didn't see that Marlins, Phillies NRFI, well, here you go. These guys ran into each other. This was the final out. They ran into each other. They obviously get an error, and then they give up a run. That ruins our no on first inning. It was an absolutely brutal day, a 2-3 day. Probably should have been 4-1 if we were to get a little bit of luck. But, we were on such a great run. We were due to give a little bit back. Not too worried about it. We're going to keep diving into all of our picks. Obviously, our parlay today on Odds Jam. You can check that out. Top link in the description. We'll talk about it at the end of the video. But, Logan, what do you got for the people today?
Yeah, we're going back to the scene of the crime. The Marlins versus Phillies game yesterday. I got wronged in both. That was my worst nightmare, getting both picks in that game wrong. But we're gonna bounce back in that game, and we're taking the under 3.5 total runs in the first 5 innings. Minus 107 odds currently on Barstool, or actually FanDuel's got the minus 102 odds. So a little bit better value there on FanDuel right now. But whenever these first 5 totals are set this low, it's usually for a good reason, right? Books have a ton of respect for the Marlins ace they're putting on the mound, Sandy Alcantara, right? If you look at the run line, you look at any of the game stats, they really do think he gives them a chance to win. And for good reason. Alcantara, 2.45 ERA and a 1.05 ERA versus the Phillies. Sandy's held them scoreless through 5 in his most recent matchup. He's a really good pitcher. If you've never watched him, you really should. He has everything. He's got the put away pitches. Most importantly, though, when he does, pitch to contact, it's just ground ball after ground ball normally, right? Now, if we talk about sort of what happened yesterday and what went wrong, Braxton Garrett didn't pitch terribly yesterday, right? He just made a few bad pitches to those Phillies hitters, and that's what I said he couldn't do. And he just held it, hung a few sliders, and right up in the zone, and they'll put him in the seats. Well, Sandy doesn't usually make those bad pitches. Knock on wood. He knows how to navigate through this Phillies order, and I really think Braxton didn't even pitch that bad yesterday. I was watching it and I was like, first of all, he had a garbage first inning run that really shouldn't have happened. So that always throws off a pitcher. But Sandy doesn't get rattled by that. Maybe he'll give up a run or two to this talented Phillies offense, but I don't think so, right? Philadelphia hitters versus Alcantara. Reese Hoskins, 6 for 31, only batting 194. JT Realmuto, 8 for 23, 348, and Alec Boehm, 2 for 7, 286. So you see, they have gotten a few hits or so on Sandy, but it's really hard, to even knock in those runners in scoring position because, maybe he's got, a runner on second base, 2 outs. All we need through 5 is Sandy just not to implode, right? Now, on the other side, we've got Noah Syndergaard, Thor, as they call him, right? 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, and a 1 whip in his start versus the Miami Marlins earlier this year. That's when he was on the Angels. So he has seen them, and he had a pretty decent showing versus this Miami offense, right? His debut, to me, didn't go all that well, right? The Phillies got the win, but he went 5 innings, pitched 4 earned runs versus the Washington Nationals in his Phillies debut. That wasn't that great of a start. So I'm expecting this to be a really bounce back performance. Look, they set the over under, for the first 5 at 3.5. They obviously expect him to be respectable because it would be 4.5 if they did think he would get rocked. Miami, 29th in OPS in August, 30th in batting average in August, only hitting 192 this month. Yeah, take it from somebody that backed the fish yesterday. They'll put a few runners on base, but good luck getting them home because, oh, yuck. It's a bad offense. It unfortunately, there was no regrets to my pick, but I just had to sit there and go, yeah, that's the offense I know. So if Syndergaard doesn't offer free walks, then I can live with the results of this pick. I really do think, make the Marlins earn those runs. They only had 1 the full game yesterday. So make them earn the runs, and I think we'll be really solid in the first 5 under. And that's the first pick of the day. But Austin, what do we got for the day?
Yeah, so I meant to mention this at the top of the show. Our podcast is live at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Definitely check that out. We're talking all about college football, giving you out some future bets that we really like. So definitely check that out. Should be live in a couple hours, or about an hour and a half by the time this video is live. Now, day one of our hit streak did not go well yesterday. Paul Goldschmidt, shout out to you. Shout out to Miles Michaelis for throwing a bunch of turkeys yesterday. 14 hits allowed. Woof. But we're going Austin Riley and Jose Altuve today. Minus 114-ish, maybe minus 112 both to get a hit. Put $10 on it. Hopefully tomorrow we can get to day two and start rolling. Now, my official pick, my player prop, is going to go back to the Mets, but I won't be taking this guy to record a win. I'll be taking Taijuan Walker of the Mets to go over 17.5 outs, minus 140 on DraftKings. Now, yes, you can. I mean, this is a bet that you might see. I believe a couple other books have it. Caesars at minus 143, Sharper Books at minus 169. Now, this is an early start to this game, 1:10 p.m. Eastern time. You're going to have to get this locked in pretty early. But Walker, let's be honest, coming off a Patrick Corbin-like start. 1 inning pitched, 7 hits, 8 earned runs allowed against the Braves. He was absolutely brutal, and I think he has to bounce back today. He just has to. If you look at it, he has, hit this over pretty frequently. If you want to take him to record a win today, it is plus 110. I didn't want to take that and run that back for the third straight day against the Reds, although we are kind of fading the Reds in some sort of fashion today. Now, look at Walker, over 17.5 outs or 6 innings pitched in 8 of his last 10 starts. That included a game against the Reds before they traded a lot of their lineup, a lot of their good hitters. He had 6 innings pitched versus this team. The Reds struggled versus right-handed pitchers, not just, this year or this just since the All-Star break, but really all season long, and they've been struggling on the road. You saw Bassett have 8 innings pitched versus this team just 2 days ago. Carrasco, 6 2/3 innings pitched versus them just yesterday. The 19 of the last 25 right-handed starting pitchers versus the Reds have thrown 6+ innings pitched or 18+ outs. 2 of the 6 to miss were Andre Plante himself. We know he's not the best, but over the Walker's last 25 starts, he's allowed 4+ earned runs in 6 games. I wanted to look at how does this guy bounce back, because yes, he had allowed 8 earned runs in his last start. He's been a very good guy to bounce back. In the 4 or 5 previous times he bounced back, had a really good showing, hit this over in 4 of the past 5 previous starts, allowing 4 or more earned runs. I really do think he's going to throw a pretty good game. Also worth noting, he's pitched pretty well at home. Hit this over in 4 straight games prior to last game's debacle against the Braves. So I think he dials in today. It's an early start. Who knows if they just wake up swinging out noodle arm bats. So I don't really care how they get it done. Swing at the first pitch. Doesn't matter to me. Walker taking his over 17.5 outs, minus 140 on DraftKings is my player prop of the day. But Logan, I believe you know what time it is. And we should play some sad music after yesterday. But we're going to continue with the rock music. We need to wave these flags today. I thought the solo homer that was only run was a bad beat, and then yesterday hit us with a bad beat. I don't know what we possibly could get today, but I think we like this one. And it's an early start again. Rays, Brewers, nowhere in first inning, minus 130 on Caesars. So yes, you see a couple different books. I don't know if I really go up to minus 146 on FanDuel, but minus 130 is pretty solid. Minus 135, pretty good too. Now let's dive into why we like this one. Woodruff is on the mound for the Brewers. 14-2 on NRFIs this year. Been very, very solid. He's been able to get it done. And you look at the Rays, 8th and first inning runs. I would say they're a much better team at home. They're obviously on the road today. And Tampa Bay, knock on wood, hasn't scored a first inning run in 8 straight games. So I do think that Mr. Woodruff can get us through those first 3 outs. Who's on the bottom half of the inning, Logan?
Yeah, it's Jeffrey Springs, and he's got a decent NRFI record, 11-3 on NRFIs this year. More importantly, what I like about Springs and how we've gotten screwed in the first inning a lot is via the home run. And Springs only 1 home run allowed in his last 3 starts, which the Brewers do feast. Brewers offense feast or famine. They love them some first inning solo bombs. Milwaukee is 13th in first inning runs, so about middle of the pack. Nothing incredibly scary. The over under predictably set to 7.5 with these 2 pitchers. I think it stands a really good chance at the NRFI as long as Springs can keep the ball in the yard. Woodruff, go out and do what you always do. You're an ace. I think we're going to fly the flags and absolutely bounce back from whatever the heck I watched yesterday.
I get that sour taste out of our mouth from yesterday. The Brewers are a team that struggles against lefties. Springs is a lefty. So we really do like that nowhere in first inning. We did consider the Cubs versus Nationals, but Josiah Gray's been throwing way too many turkeys for us to lose to another solo bomb. And if we lose to another solo bomb, we might have to take a day off or some brutal thing today. But those are our 3 picks of the day. Obviously, our hit parlay and then our parlay of the day, like we talked about on Odds Jam. If you want to use check it out and read why we like both these legs, definitely click the top link in the description. We're going Mets minus 1.5 in the first 5 and Astros minus 1.5 full game plus 222. I won't lie to you. Justin Verlander to record a win was one of the plays I did consider. It was minus 130 as I went to bed. It's now around minus 150. I don't need to test a Verlander to record a win, although I do think he records a win today. But those are our 3 picks of the day. Parlay of the day, hit streak parlay. We appreciate you guys. Check out that podcast popping up on the screen once it does go live. We appreciate you guys always for tuning in. Austin, Logan, we're signing out. See you guys Thursday morning. We're bringing out the Brewers today. Take it to the bank.